I'm Nicolette, and today Brian and I are here with Drew Gerber. He is the CEO of Wasabi Publicity, and he is here to talk to us about all types of fun things, but we are also going to talk about some brain science and marketing and all kinds of fun stuff. So thank you for joining us today, Drew. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, before we get started, why don't we tell everybody a little bit about you and kind of that journey to, where did Wasabi come from, and not the sauce, the company, and and that journey to, PR and marketing.
Well, it's been a crazy ride, just listening to the breadcrumbs that the universe delivers. I thought I was going to be a chemical engineer. So my degree is in chemical engineering. And it wasn't until I was about ready to graduate and figured out what chemical engineers actually do that I was like, this is not a good fit. And I was like, well, what do I want to do? So I actually saw what I want to do is actually make a difference. So I went to work for a company called Landmark. They're the largest personal growth and development company. And I met my business partner there. And so I worked for Landmark for a couple of years. And then I met Michelle and I said, hey, we should go into business together. She said, do it. I said, I don't know. We'll figure that out. So, and I said, oh, and by the way, I'm buying a house in North Carolina. We were living in Ohio. I said, do you want to move? She's like, all right. So we bought a house in North Carolina. We're living in Ohio and we were traveling back and forth while it was getting renovated. And it was on one of those trips I was sharing with Michelle. Look, I always wanted a company that got up underneath those people that were committed to making a difference and really changing the world. And that's the kind of company I want. She said, oh, that's PR. And at that time, I didn't really know what it was. And she began to explain, this is what PR is. And you have those conversations where kind of like, you get the goosebumps. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do PR. So here we are 20 years later.
That is pretty cool, Drew. Well, most days.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Recently, you've been talking a bit about brain science and marketing. Yeah. That was one of the reasons we were really drawn to you. We wanted to talk a little bit about that and kind of how can we really tap into the brain, and what is that relationship like with the brain and marketing and buying products and our audience, and how does that all come together?
Well, it was actually, my business partner was getting her master's degree in human development, and she shared with me, they were learning about a guy called Edward Bernays, and he was the nephew of Sigmund Freud about 100 years ago. And what he figured out is you could actually tap into people's emotions and motivate them to buy your products, services, or to join your cause. The interesting thing is that then merged with marketing, and we're kind of marketing the same way that he invented 100 years ago. And what we now know with brain science is what was happening is actually aggravating the amygdala, the almond-shaped space in your brain that really tells us that we're safe, we're secure, and we know that we matter. And when you aggravate that, and then you present someone with your product and services as a solution to make them feel that way, if they internally don't feel that way, that's how marketers have learned to manipulate that over the years. But there's been a big cost with that. It's really the reason that, we have oceans full of plastic, species diet, and climate change. And I am committed that if people are going to use the current convention in marketing, that they know what they're doing. And they're reinforcing a society that's unhappy, an economy that builds on unhappiness. And so as a marketer, I think it's really important we understand brain science so we can at least be responsible for our choices.
So then, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think consumers or, clients, would, depending on what it is, have become smarter to that, like I'm being manipulated, and that's why companies have really gone more into trying to be more authentic and have more empathy towards the...
So the answer is yes. I do think that a lot of companies are using that as a strategy, but it reads as a strategy. And that's why you can actually, you're sitting there watching like a commercial or you're reading a blog post and it's saying all these lovely feel good things, but you still feel icky inside. That's because they're out there they're now finding a new way to manipulate. Yeah. I don't, it's good, bad. I just want people to be, marketers to be responsible for it. Like, this is what you're doing. So as long as you're responsible for it and you're fine doing that's okay. But if you're someone that says you're committed to doing good in the world, not okay.
So then what do you suggest is really the appropriate way to go about that if you're going to tap in, but do it in a more responsible way?
So the way to actually do that, I think, is really to, one, get to a place where you know you have enough. You've calmed your amygdala. You know you're safe, you know you're secure, and you know that you matter. So you're not using your company or your product or services to prove that. You know, we have clients, a lot of times authors will call me and they'll, you know, say, hey, I want to do PR. I want to be a bestseller. And I'm like, okay, well, why do you want to be a seller? I want to sell books. And they can't answer the why. You know, and they're calling me from their $5 million home in San Francisco, telling me they need to sell books and they're making $1 a book. And something's not right there. Something's not off. So when we're working with clients, dig really deep the why you're really doing that. So I think that that's really important, is because once you get to the why, you then can make choices that, one, leave the world better, but also make you feel satisfied. Because if you're trying to compensate, no matter what you get, it's never going to be enough.
So with all, sorry, Nicolette, did you want to say something?
Well, I was just wondering, what happens if that why is genuinely, I just want to make money?
Great. Rock on. Really do that. But then you're being authentic about it. And be authentic with your audience. One of my favorite, signs with a homeless person, I saw it originally, I think it was in Vegas, which is like, I need money for alcohol. I'm giving that guy money all day long.
Same here. I know.
Right. He's on it. I need alcohol. Great. Here's your money. But if you're authentic, like, I want your money. Great, here's my money. It's when you're being manipulated, that's when it feels off. And that's really when it's icky. Be straight. You want to make money? Rock on, go make a lot of money. Yeah.
Oh gosh, go ahead, Brian. You were gonna
you basically asked the question I was going to say. So the difference between like an author, someone who feels compelled to write or whatever, right, versus a company. Yeah. That's sort of where we went. Companies are, some of them try to do the right thing, right? Some of them really try, and they try to be authentic. But I think a lot of them, at the end of the day, it becomes about money. And for marketers, which you bring up a good point, for marketers, should they almost be the conscience of the company, right? Where you're saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Because are a lot of them so driven by like, KPIs and ROIs and things like that they're sort of missing that piece.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would love it if they were the conscious, the consciousness of the company, the conscience of the company. I would love that. That would be amazing. And we would have a completely different world. So here's the thing is I think it's just time for people to wake up, and marketers in particular, just know what you're doing and be responsible for that. If you're manipulating, be honest about that. So and when you were talking about companies, I think it's so important for, the leaders of the company to be aligned. And then everything comes from the intentions of the leaders.
And clear.
So yeah.
Clear about that message, right? I mean, I'm thinking though, how do you help redirect clients when they are kind of on this path of destruction and chaos, and how can you kind of redirect them? How does your company work with them?
Well, the first thing that we do is we only work with clients who have enough, period.
We don't work with assholes. That's our
Yeah, I love that. It's a very similar thing. No assholes, and that they have enough. Because look, I don't want to work with a client that really is in a scarcity mode, because I'm having insane conversations with clients that are, like I say, are living in multi-million-dollar homes, have everything they want, and they're talking to me about selling $1 book. I can't, I'm too old for that. I can't do that anymore. So when we're working with clients and you're clear that you have enough, you're looking from a whole different perspective. Mm-hmm. From that place, you can truly make a difference. You can really, when you get out of the model of compensation, you get into the model of true contribution. And what's interesting about it is those companies that do that are the ones that are really successful. And then companies think that it's what they did that was successful, and it wasn't. It was their intention behind it. So they try to duplicate it, and it just never goes. It feels like, ugh, yeah.
It's not authentic then.
It's not it really does come down to being authentic. So with our clients, when they're going off rails, it always go back to the why. Why is this? What is it that you want to do? So they can feel and revel in the accomplishment of whatever we're doing too. Because I've seen this, you know, in the beginning, we were getting our clients these amazing media coverage, like great placements, string placements, and it was never enough. And they never got to feel satisfied. And we didn't get to feel satisfied. So it was this vicious circle.
Because they were given the wrong idea of what they actually wanted to measure, and not really what they wanted to measure. So
right. And what is it, why they were actually doing that? For a lot of our clients, you know, why they're really doing this is truly to make a difference in the world, to get their message out there. And a lot of companies are really in that for business these days. But it takes something to stand there in the world, you know, the overcompensation world, and it's better to make more money, bigger, grow your company, you know, more money. And it's just, yeah, it's hard to stay grounded in that. It's not easy.
Do you think a big part of your job is bringing them back to that reality, you know, getting them focused? It's almost like therapy for, you know,
It is actually, you know, clients have said that, you know, working with us, they know themselves different. The great thing about PR is clients have to really confront who they are in the world when they're doing PR. And, you know, we're taking their voice and putting it out in the world. So we need to make sure that they're very clear on that. So we do a lot of work about that. But yeah, a lot of my job is that, you know, we're a team of 14 people, and that's my main job, is just to make sure that clients that are looking to hire us are clear about their why, and then clients that may lose their why or return to their why. Yeah.
So then what about clients who come to you and say, I know I want to do this, but I'm not clear on my messaging. I'm not clear on who I am. I'm not clear, but I have this goal and I have this vision, but I don't know how or what I am and what I'm doing. You know, what is your response to that?
Well, that's the first thing we always do with every one of our clients is we take them through a branding process immediate to get clear on exactly that. What is their message to the media, which is also their target market? We also step back and look at all of their lives and how all of the pieces fit into their story or their narrative. Because oftentimes people are like, how do all of these things that I'm doing kind of fit together? We find that message where it all fits and makes sense. Yeah.
A lot of sense.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about PR then, back in 2019, you published an article in Forbes, and it was kind of questioning that effectiveness of the traditional press release. And so I want to raise that question again, because as I run through a lot of press releases, they're very press releasey, you know?
I love that, press releasey. I love that. I'm still in that. Yeah, they're just too press releasey. I love it.
You still maintain your position? Are they effective? And how can we be shifting and evolving to do press releases better?
Yeah, so great. So press releases are good for a couple of things. I think press releases are really good for SEO and backlinks. Because what will happen, any of the press releases, they'll actually push it out and it'll show up on a lot of news services. So, you know, you get this list of all of these places that it showed up and all of these backlinks and everything like that. I think that that's valuable. I think it's valuable for SEO purposes. But as a general rule, yeah, press releases just don't work anymore. Because journalists generally don't get their leads anymore from press releases. It used to be back in the day, there were the wire services, and that's the main reason, the way that they would get their information, but not so much now. It's more of that personal pitching that makes the difference.
So would you argue to continue to do them for the benefits that you talked about, but really focus on some other areas then?
Yeah, we still do them occasionally, but I always tell the clients, look, don't expect that this is going to get you media placements. That's not the intent of press releases. And occasionally they do, but for the most part, yeah, no. But yeah, we still do them for for SEO. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for media placements, you're saying really it's that relationship between like your company and those media outlets or those journalists or whoever the case is that really are the effective piece.
Absolutely. Because look, well, we pitched you, right? And we saw that we could provide value for your audience, and that's what we pitched.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it takes, is really looking to see what value can you bring to the interview with no really agenda. That's not what PR is really designed for. It's designed to provide value, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I never look at it. I never look at it that way. I mean, I know you have to provide value in order for the outlet to even want to feature you,
Yeah.
right? I mean, otherwise, but having that be the purpose, that's an interesting way.
That's all we do with our clients, is look to see what value can they provide to the media. And that's it. That's really it. Like, what is it really that you have to say to provide? Most people have this weird relationship with PR, where they think that it's the media's job to promote them. It's like bizarre world. It's called earned media for a reason. You're earning that opportunity, and you're providing value by highlighting something you're doing, or your messages, or your book, or whatever you can bring to their audience. And that's their job, is to kind of be a filter for what's going to make a difference for their audience, because that's what they're committed to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Drew, what else is new in public relations these days? What have you seen evolve? Are there any trends going on right now? Anything kind of popping up that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I think that, the news cycle is just insane now. So it used to be a 24-hour news cycle. It's now a 6-hour news cycle. So the media's need for content is voracious. Mm-hmm. So it's like nothing we've ever seen. This coronavirus is just like, it's literally like put PR on steroids, which is good for the clients, because there's a lot of opportunities now, particularly if you have something to contribute to, what people are really dealing with. Then you have a lot, but it's kind of like on hyperspeed. And I don't know how it is going to all play out and shake out now in the PR world. I think that, technology, just like with any industry, PR and technology is, leveraging, and that is a really smart thing to do. And I think that that's one of the reasons we're so effective, is technology.
Yeah, but speaking of technology, so how do you incorporate social media then into a client's PR strategy? What does that look like?
Social media is such an important piece, because here's the thing that a lot of journalists now, so it used to be what journalists would look at for credibility purposes. What do you have a book? Mm-hmm. How long has you been doing this? What are the initials after your name? No. They go to social media now. Mm-hmm. How many fans and followers do you have? So we'll have a client come to us and, they've got 12 Twitter followers. Like, the media is never going to take you serious. So we actually go to work on building their social media platform, oftentimes even before we do PR, because the media just won't take them serious anymore. So social media is critical on a lot of levels, particularly if you want national PR. You've got to have a brand, you've got to have a platform, and a huge social media following. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's an important part. It's an important piece of the equation, I think, in any business. But I think people miss the point of social media, which is, it's called social for a reason. It's called marketing media, right? It's social media. Right. So I think that that's where a lot of companies miss the boat. They think of it as a marketing tool rather than a social tool. And I think that that's a big mistake. Yeah.
So you mentioned, the time speeding up to being on a 24-hour cycle to a 6-hour cycle.
Yeah.
Now, how does that, so for someone who's trying to get publicity, does that mean they should be pushing out multiple things in that time cycle? Is it re-pushing of the same thing? Is it taking a different spin on it? Or how often should they reach out? Like, what's, since the cycle is sped up on the media outlets for your clients, how has it sped up? How has it changed?
So we actually need to think ahead. So we need to know what's breaking now and what's going to be breaking next week. That's really important, particularly with the coronavirus. And we know that most of the time, what people are going to care about when. Right. So first it was like, oh my God, staying at home, dealing with staying at home, kids, work, all that. And so there was a flood to the media about expertise around that. Then it moved to like opening up, and what does that mean? And how do we open up? And then it's really businesses, virtual, not. So you have to be a step ahead about it. But yes, you want to be relevant to whatever conversation is actually happening with the media. And that's the best way to follow up also, is be relevant with whatever you're pitching. Yeah.
Yeah, everything changes so much though with coronavirus. You can't remember. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's next?
Right. The coronavirus. The protest. It changes day by day, and it's hard because you have to stay on top of that. You can't be pitching something that was relevant last week.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you manage your clients' expectations then in something that's fluctuating so much and it's all over the place?
Well, so yeah, the hardest thing we need to do, we need to get the clients to know that we're now on 6-hour news cycles, so they need to respond immediately. Mm-hmm. What's really quite challenging for the clients to get, like, no, tomorrow is not. If the media want it, it's right now. Right. And that opportunity won't be there in an hour. So that's the hardest thing, is just really getting the clients to see, like, doing the media dance it's immediate, particularly if they want national. If they want the national logo, it's literally like we have like an hour maybe to get back to them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they're trying to fill those spots with experts all over the place. Yeah.
Totally. And it's one,
right? I mean, what can you say after a while? I mean, that's why everybody just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again, because there's just not enough. I mean, how many times can you say the same thing in a different way? So,
well, the US media, they can say it about 1,000,001 different ways. They can say the same thing over and over again. And the thing is, people sit in front of it. So that's why if you can bring something fresh to the table, that really excites the media and ultimately makes a difference. If you can bring a fresh perspective to the table, great, because it's a breath of fresh air. And the audience that have been hypnotized to the same message over and over and over, and then they hear yours, it's like, it's like the sky's opening up. Yeah.
Yeah, that means a lot for opportunity.
It does mean a lot for opportunity. It's good because you're coming from a place of service, making a difference. And that's what ultimately makes a difference, is shifting someone's point of view or perspective. And if you can do that in the media, it's going to be a win-win, because you're going to get what you want, they're going to get what they want, and it's going to make a huge difference.
So leave us with this, Drew.
Yeah.
What is your advice for people who want to engage with a public relations firm? What do you say to them before they even select, an agency or a firm to work with? What do you say to them?
So if you're looking to hire a PR company, there's a couple of things that I think here, it's very easy to find the right PR company, right? Here's what you want to look for: the philosophy. Do they share your philosophy? Because if they don't, and they're not excited and passionate about it, no. Who are the people they work with? Are they people like you? So I always send people, we've got a database, searchpresskits.com, that they can go and look at all of our clients' press kits, and they see, are those people like me? And then number 3 is, what results have they produced recently? Not what did they produce 10 years, what have they produced recently? And are those the kind of placements that you want? Those 3 answers, whenever you're interviewing a PR company, will tell you immediately if it's a good fit or not. Simple. Hiring a PR company is simple.
Thank you so much, Drew. Brian, anything else you want to?
No, that was great. I love the advice at the end, Drew. I think that's great. It simplified it. It's you know exactly what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. Can we give your audience something? This is just impromptu. I haven't even talked to you guys about this. Can we give you a link that you can share?
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. We're actually giving away this. It's our 21-day PR action guide, where we walk people through step by step exactly what we do to launch a PR campaign in 21 days. And so even if you're thinking about hiring a PR, this is really great to know exactly what your PR's company is doing and how you can benefit. And if you're looking to launch your PR campaign, great. It's how to do it in 21 days. And I'll have Hannah send that over a link to you.
Yeah, absolutely. We will, for everyone, we will provide the link in the comments or in the description below.
Yeah.
So that way everyone could access it.
Yeah, so I think that's really, because one of the things that for me, I would love, if you've got, this is for people that are really want to make a difference and have a message. particularly that will help the United States and what people are dealing with now, please get it out there. And PR is the quickest way to do that. People need it. It's crazy land.
We know, we're here. You're so lucky.
Yeah, I know. I'm in Hungary. I'm watching from a distance. Yay!
which actually probably gives you a great perspective on it too.
It actually is amazing. You know, it actually does give me one. It gives me a perspective in the United States, but also actually I am very grateful. I've never been so grateful to be an American because I see the mindset that I have. You know, that anything's possible. You know, that's an American mindset. Most of the rest of the world does not have that. You know, failure is not an option over here. You know, where we're fail hard, fail fast, that is not an option over here. So you really look, I'm grateful that I am an American and I was brought up with that mindset. So it has given me a different perspective in a lot of different ways.
I agree.
Well, Drew, can you tell everybody where else, aside from the link that we're going to post about the book, can you tell everybody where they can learn more about you and Wasabi Publicity?
Yeah, wasabipublicity.com. Just go there, and they'll also, if you'd like to talk to me, there's a link there. You can schedule a free call, and I'm happy to hop on the phone with anybody to help them sort out and make sure they're on the right, whether they hire us or not, they're on the right path with PR.
And Drew's fun to talk to. So
Yeah,
if you want to do that,
Really fun.
I know.
He's the PR therapist. So
I'm just gonna randomly text Drew, like in the, well, I got to figure out the time difference, but I'm just randomly.
Yeah, randomly. Yes, exactly. What do you need? Whatever you need to make your life turn out, I'm your guy.
Awesome, Drew. Thank you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
really appreciate
Thanks.
it.